I am privileged that Joan asked me to talk about Frank. I cannot talk about Frank without mentioning Joan. They were married for nearly 60 years. So, Joan, you're going to be mentioned in this eulogy to Frank. And I will be talking to Frank at sometimes in the present, as I hope you'll understand as I go through this eulogy. We are here to celebrate and remember the life of Frank. And boy, what a life. He was one of a kind, and really a kind man. I am so privileged that I got to know him and share some of his life with him. He shared his life with everyone he came in contact with. He spent much time with his family and also volunteered his time to friends, community, such as our church, the Rack Room thrift store, and recently, Sowers of the Seed. He especially loved the Rack Up due to his love of fixing non-working items so they could be sold. He loved bringing home unsellable items, and he would share these items with his friends. A lot of us have these treasures in our homes. Many of us here attended parties, dinners, card games with Frank and Joan, and have also enjoyed activities of fishing, scalloping, and camping. We have also been on many trips to several beaches, Italy, New Orleans, Savannah, Ybor City, just to name a few. I can think of only one time on all these trips that I got upset with Frank. The nightly turn-down service at our hotel would put a cup of ice cream in our refrigerator for us. One night, everyone had their ice cream but me. Frank had hid mine, but gave it back as I was calling the front desk. One of many of Frank's pranks. One more story of the many of Frank's pranks. We had our best friend Karen, who is now passed, and poor Karen was the blunt of many of Frank's pranks. Frank would have waiters sing happy birthday to her, being her birthday would be months away. And poor Karen hardly ever got to have a full plate of shrimp, as Frank would sneak a few of them from her plate, but he would always make it up to her. Over the years, we have gotten to know each other's families and attended many good times with other friends' families. One such event was when Frank's daughter, Nikki, got transferred to Houston, Texas, where she met her now husband, Kyle. A group of us took a flight to Houston, not only to attend their wedding, but to see Frank dance with Nikki, the only time Frank ever danced. And he did good. Then, 2 months later, Nikki and Kyle celebrated the birth of twin daughters. No, sorry. 2 years later, they celebrated the birth of their twin daughters, Emma and Bailey. Frank loved his granddaughters. He could not do enough for them. He built these granddaughters not one, but 2 different tree houses and kept a large swimming pool going for years when they visited in Steinhatchee. What a great granddad. When I walk out my front door, I think about Frank. Not only am I looking at his dock and backyard, I look and think about my dock that we rebuilt, the ramp we rebuilt, the 2 handrails and kayak holders we added to the dock. As I walk down the steps, I'm looking at another dock we repaired and built railings on. As I get down the steps, I see what we call the screen room and think about how many times we have repaired those screens with all the hurricanes we have had. We have run gas lines, built storage sheds, boat ramps, and built Granddaddy Land with swings, monkey bars, and zip line and other grandkid attractions. The list is endless. I have tried to count the number of projects and repairs Frank and I have made, and the number is way over 50. When each project or repair ended, he would say, "Now that was fun, and what's next?" Most of us know Frank was kind of, well, cheap. When we were playing cards at their house, we might have to ask Frank to turn down the AC from his normal 81 degrees just a little, or might have to ask him to turn on a light to see our cards. That being said, he would slip the person at the dump a couple of extra bucks, give the mail person a Dr. Pepper, or give a helper a little bit extra. He would share anything he had with anybody. The last item he shared was probably his greatest with us. He gave us a spray bottle of WD-40. What a great guy. As previously mentioned, we have not only known Frank's family, but also their last 3 dogs, from Sophie, Allie, and now Libby. All were good dogs, but after Allie passed away, Frank said they were going to wait a while before getting another dog. Frank was true to his word. They waited 24 hours and brought home their current dog, Libby. Frank and Joan are talented people. They've made cut glass items, paintings, pottery, and welding designs. The list goes on. They have given these talents to many friends over the years, and Yvette and I are fortunate to have many of these items. Frank welded us a fish that is hanging in our kitchen window, and Joan's pottery, when not in use, is on display throughout our home. When they moved to Texas, many of Joan's pottery items were broken in the move, and Yvette and I tried to get them to take some of their items that they made us. They said, "No, they are yours." What a thoughtful couple. One thing Frank always did during our projects is check in with Joan and let her know where he was and when he would be home. From what I observed, there's a deep love between Frank and Joan. Not a gooey, mushy love, but a caring, kindness, meaningful love. But on rare occasions, they had been known to say a few non-church words to each other and show a few inappropriate hand signals, but it was all in jest. They would sit rubbing and touching each other, lightly expressing love, and Frank would always compliment Joan on her meals she prepared. He'd help clean up the dishes, but poor Frank couldn't boil water. But Joan did show him, in an emergency, how to microwave a corn dog for 15 seconds. I could go on and on about my best buddy and friend. I'm sure many of you can top the stories I can tell, like when Frank went outside in the middle of the night with nothing on but a flashlight in order to save a mullet that, when jumping, landed in his boat. Or the time Frank broke his glasses watching a nail come out of a nail gun. Yes, we are all sad and heartbroken that Frank is not with us. But with all the great stories, the adventures, the travels, and good times, we can remember, laugh, and smile because Frank was such a positive part of our lives and will always be. Thank you.